In this video today, I'm going to show you a really easy process to make sure that your design is saved at 300 DPI, your image is upscaled if you are creating with AI, and that your background is removed completely if you need it to be, or rather the white parts that your background remover took out is added back in. If all of that sounds really confusing, you probably haven't been making AI designs to sell on Etsy, but this is actually one of the biggest questions that get asked in my community. So I thought I would make a quick and easy video that you can reference on some of the easiest ways to actually do these three things. Now, before we jump in real quick, I am running a free 3-day challenge where I walk you through how to build your first AI-powered income stream, even if you are starting from zero. It's at baileymasterclass.com. The link will be down in the description below. Now, I will say that there are probably 1,000 different ways to bulk remove a background or bulk upscale an image and save at 300 DPI. This is not that video. We are not doing anything with automations. I'm trying to do this with all free or very inexpensive software or tools that you probably already use. Now, before we get into actually doing this, I want to point out a few things that a lot of people get confused. So there are usually 3 different ways people sell digital design files on Etsy. The first one, if you've been around this channel for a while, is probably Sublimation designs. And the thing that most people don't realize with Sublimation is that Sublimation ink, there is no white ink. So there is no printing with white ink because the printer doesn't even have white ink. All of this white that you actually see is just the tumbler. So this is Heat Press Nation, and this is where I actually used to get all of my Sublimation blanks or products. And as you can see, they're all going to be white. So we don't sublimate usually on any type of colored material or substrates, and that is because the color that we want to show through is white, because again, there is no white ink used in sublimation. So if you are creating designs and they have a bunch of white for them, usually the sublimation crafter knows that it's not really white there. It's just the white product that is showing through. So you can definitely create it that way. It's just going to be transparent when they actually go to print it, if that makes sense. So you will see on my shop lots of designs that have sublimation or lots of designs that have white in them, but it just means that it's the white of the tumbler or the mug or the cup showing through. So this is an example, though this is a little bit cream, so that actually would print because it is a true color. But where it's pure white, so like on the snow right here, that would actually just be the tumbler white color showing through. Another really popular form of printing that a lot of sublimation crafters and small business owners use is called UVDTF, and that is typically what you find on glass jars. So this is actually the best way to compare it to something is a permanent type of vinyl sticker, though it's not vinyl. It is UVDTF printed, which is with UV. Direct to film is what it technically is, and this does print white. So if you are creating designs for glass jars, anything that is white in the design is actually going to print if they are using for it. Now, a lot of sublimation crafters will still buy, if you've keyworded it for UVDTF or DTF, if it's like for a shirt, they will still buy these and they can still press this. It's just wherever white that there was in the design, it's just going to be transparent and the glass is going to show through, which is what a lot of sublimation crafters want anyway. So I wouldn't be really concerned with like keywording and making sure your design is UVDTF friendly or sublimation only friendly, because with crafters, 99% of them know exactly what type of printing that they're using and how it's actually going to be printed. That's why in a lot of my keywords, you will see me using both the keyword sublimation or DTF or DTG, which is direct to garment printing. And the reason I go into all of that and explaining the difference between UVDTF and sublimation is because sometimes you might want your white put back into the design if for some reason your background remover removed it. And that would be an example like on this, where I actually want the white in the flowers and some of the white like in the horns to show, because if that white didn't really print, then he wouldn't have any horns, because it would just be a transparent part of, or an outline, and be transparent in the center, and it wouldn't really look like part of the design, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've already generated an AI graphic design, and let's just say we are using this for UVDTF, this type of particular design, and we want to make sure that our little stars are still there, just because I've already played around with this design and I know that it's going to remove part of the white background. It doesn't matter where you get your AI image for, this is just an example. So if you are getting your AI from Midjourney or from a different AI generator, maybe not from in Canva, I'm just trying to show you the entire process. Again, doesn't matter where you're getting the image from, use your favorite image generator and then add it over here in Canva. Now I'm using Canva because it is one of the most popular editing tools out there. It is one of the relatively lowest expensive types of tools that you can get. But it does come with a few caveats, such as it will not save something at 300 DPI, so you will have to do an extra step. Now, if you are a longtime viewer of the channel, you know that I primarily use Kittl for this reason, because if I were to fix this, get it all added, I could add it into Kittl. It will save it at 300 DPI, so I don't need to do an extra step. But if you are not a Kittl user, then you will want to follow along here. So first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and change this background to something really, really bright, just so you can see when I go ahead and make my changes. So I haven't removed the background yet. So if we remove the background here, you can see that it took out a lot of the little white stars here. And again, if we were printing this on a glass jar, which is what I would want to do with it, we're going to have an issue where it's going to have some of the stars with the white that it left in there, and then some of them are going to be transparent and the glass would just be shining through. Now, alternatively, if we were printing this design on a tumbler wrap, we wouldn't have to do anything with it. We don't even have to remove the background, because all of the white is already white on the tumbler, if that makes sense. Here's more of a white one where it was saved as a transparent background, and it's not a white background, it's just there was nothing there to begin with, so it is white. So with this one, if you were using it for a tumbler design, you would honestly just need to size it correctly, upscale it, and save it. You don't need to do anything different, like remove the background or mess around with this at all, because all of the white is going to naturally show. The difference comes in for if you were, again, using this with UVDTF, or let's say you wanted to actually put this on a shirt, which would make a really cute shirt design for 4th of July. If it was printed on, let's just say, a blue shirt, which wouldn't be really smart because there's a lot of blue, so it would just blend in. But let's just say you printed it on just for, let's just say, a green shirt like this, for example. You're going to have the white showing here because DTF printing and DTG printing does print the white. So if you were using print on demand with like a partner like Printify, it would actually show the differences. It's going to print this little like white halo around the cherries right here, and then it's going to leave some of the stars blank, and whatever color your shirt is, that's what's actually going to show through. So first of all, we need to go ahead, let's just say we're gonna make it for this little glass jar design here. We need to add back in the parts that the white took out, which are the stars. And I'm gonna back up just for a minute because we forgot to upscale it, which we need to make sure it's upscaled. Now, again, there are thousands of upscaling tools, free out there, paid ones out there, but if you just want to use Canva, you can definitely add it in here if you didn't upscale it prior to adding it over here. We need to upscale AI images generally because they are created at way too small of a size for it to actually be usable and clear. So we need to make it larger so that it's big enough to be printed. So before we move the background, you'll just come over here to apps and you can just type in upscaler. So Canva has an upscaler in here. So we just need to click on image upscaler right here. And when I'm using Canva's image upscaler, I just do it by 4 times, which is right here. That is typically the max because of the size of it that it's already been added as, and then we'll go ahead and upscale it. So now it'll work for a minute and then it will ask if I want to replace it with the upscaled size, which is what I'll do. Now, while we're waiting for this, I do want to go into a big question that's often asked as well, which is the best background remover tool that's going to do this without me needing to do any minor editing? And unfortunately, the answer is that Canva's background remover is one of the best that I've actually seen out there, especially when dealing with bulk background removers. Theirs is actually fairly good compared to most of them out there, but it's not perfect. And with a design like this, that it's very watercolor style and there's not really harsh lines, that's just honestly the nature of dealing with AI images and background removers and trying to get it to work as easy as possible without having to spend a ton of time on editing. Okay, so once that is replaced, now we'll go ahead and remove the background. We can see where we need to fill it back in. At this point, it's really crucial to look for everywhere where it took out the parts of white that we would want put back in. And so we're looking at this little kind of a star over here. Some of the cherries, you can see green through there. So that's why it's important to choose a really bright color so you can kind of see, and you might have to go back and forth a few times to actually remember where all of the white got removed. So then we'll click on background remover again, and instead of erase, we'll click on restore. And now we'll just brush over everywhere where we can remember, which can be a little bit more difficult or yeah, said than done. And brush over it to add the white back in, which is all of these places here. You can make your brush a little bit smaller if it's more areas like this so that you don't end up brushing the white back into areas where you don't want it to. For me, with this type of design, I would want to leave the stripes where the white was transparent so that it would show the glass through. So then that way the drink or the coffee or whatever's in it is showing through, which is what a lot of people want with these particular types of glass jar designs. Basically, you just want to brush over all of the areas that you can pretty much as best as you can remember, like I said, to fill back in those white spots. Then you can click done. It will bring it back to green. If you need to go back and do it again, like you can see, I missed these right here and I thought I went over all of those stars. I missed this stuff here on the stripe. So I'll go back in there and actually do it a little, oops, I messed it up. Sorry for that. Let me go ahead and click restore. We want to just paint it all back in, which is really, really easy to do. Now at this point, you can probably see all of this white little haze around here. Again, if you were putting this on a tumbler, it wouldn't matter because it's all going to be white anyway with the white stripes. But if you were putting this on a shirt on the glass jar, this is where you would want to fix that. And with Canva, it would just be doing the opposite, which is coming back into background remove and making sure it's selected to erase, and then just very carefully erase all of that around there. You might have to hit your restore back a couple of times, like I've already got it into the stripe there, to try and get it as cleaned up as much as possible. I'm sure there are easier ways to do this in something like Photoshop. I personally would not work with this type of design on anything but a tumbler because I wouldn't want to spend the time editing this, or I would go ahead and just paint all of the white back in there, and then that is what the type of design would look like on here, cleaning up the edges just a bit. But it really is a matter of personal preference on how long you actually are going to dedicate to creating these types of designs and spending this amount of time. Thankfully, a lot of the brush strokes of the flag part are not super harsh lines, like it's really watercolor style. So if it kind of is messed up into that, that is perfectly fine. Again, you're only going to be doing this type of editing and making sure that that white blurry part around it is cleaned up if it's specifically for a shirt. Though the flip side of this is if you only mocked it up on the white shirt, you wouldn't see it. However, if someone used this for print on demand and printed it on a yellow t-shirt or a green t-shirt, it will show. It wouldn't show up on something like white because it's just going to blend in, but it would show up if they printed it on a colored shirt or if they went and printed it on this glass jar. Okay, so now that this part is done, it's the time to go ahead and save it. So you'll just click on download over here. And with Canva, because of the size, you'll go ahead and save this at 1.5, which is what I do. And then make sure that it is selected to transparent background, because we don't want to save it with the white background that we just spent all of the time removing. Okay, so now the final step in the process is to make sure that our file is saved at 300 DPI. Now, in my over 388,000 plus sales on Etsy, I can only remember a handful of people on one hand who actually came back and said something wasn't saved at 300 DPI. It was like 250 or whatever it was. Many people, they're not looking at that file size because they need it to be that. They are looking in if it somewhat seems blurry. And so we want to just make sure it's saved at 300 DPI. So if anybody comes back about the quality, then it's what it's supposed to be. Now there is a whole thing of creating in pixels compared to creating in inches, because DPI is dots per inch, whereas most of the time we create in pixels, and if it's created high enough. But with Photopea, it's going to be really simple to do this anyway. So you'll just want to open up a new project. Now I'm using Photopea because it is free. If you have something like Photoshop, you can do this exact same process, or you could go over to Kittl and just create it at 300 DPI. Okay, so you're gonna wanna go ahead and set your artboard here. And we typically create these types of files at 4,000 or 5,000 by 5,000 pixels. And then we're gonna go ahead and change the DPI, which is right here. So that is right here, pixels, inch right there, and it's created big enough so this can be used on a shirt, it could be used on a wall print, it could be used on this glass jar. The size is plenty big enough, and then you can name it if you want to, and then it is set to the correct size. Once you have that, you'll just go ahead and then add your image in there. So I've just dragged it in there, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and come over to this panel and turn off the background, which is right here, just so it makes sure and is saved as the transparent background that we need to. And then that is it. We're going to go ahead and export as a PNG, which is right here, and it will download and you're done. I'll show you in just a moment how you can check that if it is saved at 300 DPI if you don't trust it, but you can go ahead and see that it's saved there. Now obviously I didn't go in and clean everything up like I would have if it was going to be used for this or for a shirt. Now if you want to check it, you can just right click on your images or on your image, go to properties, which is right there, and you'll see all of these tabs up here. Just go to details, which is right here. And then you're going to see the dimensions, and you're going to see that it's 300 DPI. So that is the most cost-effective way to do this without doing bulk automation tools, without having Kittl and Photoshop. So you can use Photopea, which is free, and then Canva, which pretty much everybody has. If not, I believe it's around $12 to $15 per month, but you do need somewhere to remove that background, and Canva's is one of the better ones. If you aren't dealing with as detailed of a watercolor image like this one, it can be very much spot on where you don't need to go in and restore anything. Or if you're just creating designs that don't have any white at all, then you're not even worrying about this process to begin with. I hope these steps help you, and this process is a little bit clearer than what I know a lot of you have been finding online and different tools. Again, there are probably thousands of different tools at this point that are just upscalers or just background removers or conversions to 300 DPI. So there are lots out there. This is by no means the only way to do this. This is just one of the more simple ways that is using most tools that people already have. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.